Hey guys, this is Sammy from Makati Ag. This is the first video in a series that we're going to call Sam Says. The purpose of these videos is to educate drone owners as well as dealers in the importance of repair and maintenance. It's also to teach people the importance of doing this right the first time to save time and money. We were debating on what we were going to do for our first video, and this controller happened to fall into our laps. What happened was the customer sent it to another dealer. It needed both joysticks. When they took it apart, they happened to call the customer and say that they needed a whole new controller. They wanted a second opinion, so they called us. We went and brought it here. We checked it over, got the necessary parts so we can walk through it, and hopefully some of you guys can learn something from it. So this is the inside of a T40 controller. Obviously the first thing that I noticed when this came to us is this ribbon cable being ripped in half. The first thing you have to know when you take these controllers apart, you have wires and you have that ribbon cable. Typically this is going to be here. You will never lay this flat 180 degrees. They did manage to get all of these replaced. That would be your joysticks. Typically you don't take them out like this. I'm not sure why they're out. So what we're going to do, I'm going to go ahead just real quick and take this ribbon cable off. The other thing to be aware of when you're doing this is these screws are tiny. Do not lose them. Most people aren't going to carry these in stock unless they're bigger dealers because you don't have a need for them. The other thing to be sure of is know your orientation on these little metal plates that actually hold the ribbon cable down to the main board. Another thing I want to make sure to say before I finish this is when you're doing any repairs, doesn't matter if it's a drone, if it's a controller or anything, make sure you unhook your power supply. The last thing you want is to pull a connection apart and end up shorting something else out in the process. Once we get these guys out of here, we can go ahead and remove the old ribbon cable. This is your battery to your main board, for anyone who is curious what that cable actually is. Now we can lock this in here carefully. And this does fold over and kind of in two different directions, so it's more S-shaped. Once you hear that pop, it's locked in. Now, just for the sake of this video, I'm not actually going to assemble the entire controller for you. What I am going to do is rehook the power supply. I can lay this lid back on here and go ahead and power on the controller. Now, once this fires up, typically because it had the sticks replaced, you would have to do a recalibration. We don't have to do that. I have already put it on just to verify everything was good and there wasn't any other damage inside of this controller. Now this is good to go. Save the customer roughly $1,500. This is a $3.62 piece. Thanks guys for watching. We plan on doing this at least once a week, so stay tuned.